Good morning. Good morning. Michael Israel here with another Tech Tuesday. Um, One of our last for the year. I can't believe 2020. It feels like we were just starting the whole COVID thing like 18 months ago. Yeah. But yeah, coming to a close on 2021. Seeing boats rolling in, that's a good sign. I think we've gotten a good load of skeeters the last couple of weeks, right? Starting to actually get some pontoons, so that's fun. Guys, if you got some questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I found a couple of things out on the interwebs that may be a good point of discussion. So I guess here in Alabama, the we're on our second or third winter. Starting yesterday after the storm that rolled through, we had a short spring and a little bit of a fall there. Everybody got out and did a boat parade here. Joe,
I watched one in Southside at Mary's.
There was a lot of boats. So hey, for those of y'all that got out there and showed some Christmas spirit on your boats, it was fun to see all the pictures. I was unable to get down there to the river to check it out, but yeah. So now we've officially got some cold weather, so we'll see how that holds up. So guys, I am not seeing any questions popping in. I hope somebody just say, "Hey, let me know this thing's working."
Is this thing on?
Is this thing on? I'm not going to tap it because I don't want to blow your eardrums out if you got little earpods in or something like that. But all right, well, if it's not, then oh well, we'll deal with it. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up a question and we'll get rolling.
Yeah, one guy.
Oh, all right, awesome. Hey, Shane. Thank you.
We just did so good last week.
Do what?
We answered all the
We
questions.
did. We
in
had
the whole world last week.
We had. Yeah, I guess everybody's. I don't know. I am kind of curious if anybody's got some little winter projects they're working on. It seems like now's a good time for guys pulling some project boats in. I saw. Which I haven't talked to you today about it, but Brian Latimer got himself as like a 2003 center console little bay boat. He's gotten pretty big into having fun this time of year going red fishing, but it's got an old Evinrude, and I think Mercury's going to get him a motor and he's going to repower. So we were. He said he was good to either dial in or we'll figure out and maybe do a Tech Tuesday and talk with him about what to think about with repowering an old boat and going through and putting a new motor on.
Hopefully it's not old salty dog.
Yeah, I don't know. He did. He's got one video they put out on kind of buffing out the gel coat and a little bit of restoration. He didn't get himself. I mean, he doesn't have the time for some massive project boat, but
Right.
so I don't know. We'll see. But now this time of year seems like a good time for a lot of guys to do that. All right, so found this in the Skeeter. He's got a ZX 190 with a 175H PDI. Lower unit went out, swapped it with one off of a 150H PDI. Now, since I put it on, run good while I'm running plenty of water pressure. But when I get in an idle zone, it runs hot. Check the thermostats, seem to be working. Just changed the poppet valve, and it's still running hot. Any ideas on an old 175 HPDI?
I would wonder if they changed the water pump or if they just threw that bad boy on there. So and something people don't look at sometimes when they're changing water pumps is or even changing a lower unit. So if they put a new water pump on it, there's a metal housing inside the water pump housing.
Okay.
There's like a metal sleeve in there.
All right.
And I've seen them get overheat and they turn. And if they do that, then you'll overheat it idle. So and I've also seen them to where they didn't below the little plate. There's seals under there that seal up the drive shaft, but there's also another little a rubber like it's a metal piece in there with a little rubber lip that seals it from sucking air from the bottom.
Okay.
And so I've seen that cause idle overheats. You know, so could be that.
Well, so is that uncommon or common thing, swapping, putting on 150? I guess, does it matter on the lower units?
It's not. Yeah, you wouldn't really. I don't think you'd notice much of a difference. I don't. More likely they got the same gear ratio. So.
All right. Let's see here. When you guys winterize an IO, do you dry block them or leave antifreeze in the block?
Well, if it doesn't have closed cooling, then we drain the fluid out of it. Yeah, we don't do any antifreeze stuff here. It's just too much regulations and doing antifreeze, and you got to buy a special antifreeze. So if you put it in a tank and run it in the boat, it has to be safe for water. So for us, it's just easier for us to just drain the blocks and drain anything that's got water.
Would that make a difference? Would you want to put more effort in if you were in a colder area of the country, maybe, or?
Well, possibly, but then you got to get even higher end antifreeze.
Gotcha.
Because it needs to be able to have a higher freezing point. So it would need to not freeze it below, just if you're in northwest Wisconsin or something like that, and it gets down to -40 or something.
Or Iowa.
I don't. Does it get cold there? I don't go to cold places, so I don't know. Apparently it does, because I've never been to Iowa.
That's probably, yeah. I think so. It basically we dry block it, is what you're saying.
Yes,
we drain it
and there's downsides to that too, because you're dealing with mostly cast iron, and if you're in a place that heats up and cools off a lot, and then it produces rust, and you got to end up putting a tap in some of the places. But a lot of the ones we have now, or the newer ones, have brass plugs in them.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that as much.
Would it make a difference if, like, you knew that you may not pull it back out for the next season? I mean, if you're one of those guys that maybe you're too busy and it's actually going to get laid up and sit that way for, say, 2 years, would that make any difference to you?
To me, it wouldn't. No.
Okay.
No, I'm drying it out.
All right. All right. Well, I hope that helps.
Because to me, there's less risk in it, especially if you're in a place like Iowa, where if you got -10 degree antifreeze in there, and it gets down to -30, you may actually have
you've made your own problem. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the other option from Iowa is come winter down here and
store it in South Florida.
Yeah. Or yeah.
Because I've had it where actually my father-in-law lives in northwest Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's a lot colder up there, but we've had instances where it was below freezing up there or above freezing up there and below freezing down here. It's odd, but it happens. A little what they call them, polar vortexes.
Oh yeah.
Where it sweeps around and then hits you.
A little El Nino or something crazy.
I don't know if it's Nino. Maybe what's the other? El Nino.
All right. Edgewater center console. So I'm assuming I pulled this out of the Yamaha group. I'm assuming it's a saltwater use. Anything that I need to know to ask from a maintenance standpoint? So he's looking at a Edgewater 2005 Yamaha 4-stroke 200, fuel inject 854 hours on the gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Runs well and starts right up. Mm-hmm. Any ideas on recommendations on taking a look at that to buy it?
Yeah, I always tell people the same thing: is do a compression check on it. If you can't get spark plugs out, leave it. Just walk away. That's what we like to do. And the only reason I say that is if it's a saltwater engine, it's it's very possible that you have stuff that's going to be stuck. So we've had a few here where people kept their boats down there and they brought them up here. We're selling them to somebody else, and then when us trade check them, and we get into about the third spark plug, and it's and then we're done after that. It's like, well, here's your problem. Take it to the water and run it more than 10 minutes. Go run it like you're gonna start out like you're gonna hold out kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Take it out there for 30 minutes or so. Run it at different RPMs. Do a few long wide open runs on the engine. Stress test a little bit. Because I've had people go out there and they run a mile, come back, and then the next time they took it out, they did a 5-minute wide open run and it blew up, and then they're stuck with it.
I think that 175 HPDI that we were just talking about is a pretty good example of. We've got good water pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's running fine.
Yeah.
You come back and run idle.
If you don't sit and idle around for a while, you never know it. So you think you got a good as gold, and if it's something somebody else has been working on and has had a problem with, and they're just sick and tired of it, and they're going to sell it, we'll go out there and make a wide open run and take it back, put it on the trailer, and he's gone with it. And then suddenly, he's idling around looking for structure with his fish finder, and it's overheating.
So,
yeah.
All right.
I always tell people are selling their boats, individually because they're wanting to get rid of it for a reason. Yeah. And usually,
there are plenty of guys that they want to get a bigger boat. There's nothing wrong mechanically with what they. But,
I always assume there is.
Well,
and you, if you're a buyer, should always.
If you're a hammer, everything's a nail, and you're a mechanic, so everything is
broken.
So that makes sense. But no, we get, and I've probably, you're talking 2005s, but certainly the guys that are coming in with one or two.
Anytime you're buying a boat, it's always buyer beware, because you especially if it's on the coast, because you literally don't know what you're going to be walking into.
All right. Well, I think that's all. That's all I've got. I'm not seeing anything else, so I think we'll do
early lunch.
Early lunch. Probably one more. I don't know. Next week we're doing a fishing show with a bunch of pro anglers, so I don't know if we're going to squeak in a Tech Tuesday. But
you want me to sit in between them in case somebody has a question about it?
I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to want you in the way. So, this is the one we do with the customers coming in and fishing with them. And the last time we did it, we got these cheesy little plaques made up, and it's a fun day shooting a YouTube video.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, the competitive nature.
So you're saying it's on the water?
Yeah, it's on the water.
Yeah, you can tell me how.
No. We're gonna be doing the fishing show, straight up fishing for B-Lab.
Okay.
And but we've got Scott Canterbury and Wes Logan and Matt Herron and taking a customer out fishing. And like I said, the last time we did it, there's no money on the line. It's just for fun. Shoot a video, and we got these little plaques made up of the Bucks Island Pro-Am. Man, those guys, they're competitors through and through. So I don't know if they want you in the way.
They probably want me out there for technical support in case they break down, but they're not going to get it.
We'll see. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to y'all probably one more time on a Tech Tuesday before the end of the year. All right. Later, guys. Oh, hey, don't forget, 18th of the month, we close for the rest of the year. So you got about a little over a week and a half to get in and get what you need for Christmas. So, all right, we'll talk to you later.